This is Thriving Thoughts, a podcast that teaches you how to change your thoughts so you can change your life. I'm Dr. Sherri, clinical psychologist turned thought coach. In each 5-minute episode of the Thriving Thoughts podcast, we will discover one lie we believe about ourselves, others, or the world that lures us into a surviving mindset. Then we'll learn the truth that leads us into a thriving thought world. And to bridge the gap between knowing and doing, I'll teach you one practical thought tool you can start to use right away. Consider me your personal thought coach, and each episode your personal thought coaching session. I want you to thrive, to grow, flourish, and prosper. And here's your first truth. If you want to thrive, you have to choose to do the work. The daily deliberate work of changing the way you think so you can change your life. Welcome to the Thriving Thoughts community. Let's get ready to speak truth over the lies so we can thrive in any and every circumstance. The verb overwhelm can be traced back to the mid-14th century when referring to a water vessel affected by waves. It means to overturn, knock over, or turn upside down or submerge completely. When you say, I am overwhelmed, you are saying, I've been overturned, knocked over, turned upside down, or completely submerged. That means you are under, you are trapped, you are powerless, you are drowning. It means that something, life, events, circumstances, whatever you attribute to your overwhelm, is greater than you, more powerful than you, has its hold on you, and is over you, keeping you feeling this way. When we say we're overwhelmed, we underestimate the power of that statement to convince us of our condition and to keep us there against our will. It's a common response I get from people when I ask them how they are. I'm overwhelmed. What I want to say is, well, how long are you going to stay there? But for most, we don't understand that being overwhelmed is a choice, and a choice we would never make if we said it in an unusual way, in a way that more accurately reflects the meaning of being overwhelmed. My schedule has power over me. My cancer diagnosis has power over me. Time has power over me. Money has power over me. Others have power over me. What has power over you right now? And how long are you going to give it permission to exert its power over you to keep your world turned upside down and to keep you completely submerged? I had a therapy client several years ago, we'll name her Jennifer, a woman in her 40s who presented with a litany of challenges in life that left her feeling overwhelmed. She often used the yes but phenomenon to refute her ability to choose power over the things she believed had power over her, mostly because she believed if she admitted she had power to change the circumstances in her life, then it was her fault that she got to where she was. She was already feeling like enough of a victim, and her fragile psyche couldn't take any added blame, real or perceived. It was our third or fourth session after we'd proven a deeper level of trust that she launched into her list of how out of control her life was and how powerless she was to do anything about it. That day, I used a different tactic. I said, without snark, by the way, and with empathic reflection of her perceived experience, wow, you're right. Your situation is awful, and there's just nothing you can do about it. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Her eyes shifted up and to the right. I could see the cogs in her brain working, grinding to a halt, only to begin spinning in a new thought direction. After a moment, her head moved back in offense, and she defensively said, I'm not entirely helpless, you know. To which I replied, yes, let's talk about that. Jennifer was ready for a shift. She was physically and mentally exhausted from believing the lie that life had power over her. But she stayed there so long, stuck in that not merely limiting, but paralyzing belief that she couldn't do anything to change it. Her exhaustion was real. Her belief that she was overwhelmed was real. Until the truth that she spoke, not me. I am not powerless. Overwhelmed, turned upside down, her life circumstances. If you've listened to this far, I bet you see Jennifer's story in your own. Perhaps you're saying, but Dr. Sherri, you just don't understand. I have so much going on and I'm exhausted. I literally am overwhelmed. And I will ever so lovingly and truthfully ask you, how long are you going to stay there? You see, friends, overwhelm is a choice. It's an admission of powerlessness, which is a lie. Sometimes we want people to agree with us, to sympathize with us, to fully understand what we're going through. I understand, and I value you enough to not give you permission to stay there. Write out your own litany of circumstances which you feel are overwhelming you. This time, introduce a new thought habit. Instead of muttering, I'm so overwhelmed, which leads to powerlessness and inaction and perpetuation of the very problem you want to be rid of, say, I have power over my schedule. I have power over my job. I have power over money. I have power over time. I have power over me. Don't believe the lie that life is more powerful than you and you are overwhelmed by it. Speak the truth that you have power over you. Share the love and share the show by tagging at Dr.Sherri Speaks on your Instagram story and using the hashtag Thriving Thoughts with Dr. Sherri. Until next time, remember to speak truth over the lies and you will thrive in any and every circumstance.